Hey guys, and welcome back to Mental Health Monday. I hope you are all well. Not gonna lie, it's taken me a while to sit down and film this video today. I'm just having one of those overwhelmed days, you know, but filming mental health videos, even though like it takes me a lot of motivation to be able to do it, it actually really helps me. Like whenever I film the videos, I always feel so much better. So I'm hoping that's the case with today's video. I thought I would do another one on BPD and specifically how I recovered from BPD. Now I wouldn't say that I am like fully recovered because I do still suffer, and recently over the past 2 months I've probably had like my biggest knockback in a while, but nonetheless I'm functioning way better than I was 6 years ago. So I just thought I would share you my tips. This pretty much applies for any mental illness. I think with BPD, the thing that I've had to come to terms with is I'm never gonna be fully rid of it. It's always gonna be there in differing intensities, and hopefully like as my life goes on it will get less and less and less. I think BPD is something that you can learn to manage and live alongside of, not necessarily be rid of completely. But for me, my goal I guess is to just have BPD be so quiet that I don't even notice it's there, and that I kind of like forget about it. And I feel like when I'm well, I definitely don't meet the criteria of BPD. A lot of the things I have stopped, like self-harm, I haven't overdosed in years. I did have a small relapse in self-harm recently, but that was fine because I knew that I was gonna bounce back from that. So anyway, yeah, let's just get into the tips. I really hope these help. If you do have BPD, don't panic, trust me, you are able to recover and you're able to be in a loving, healthy relationship like I am at the moment. I never thought I would be in a relationship. It's been like a 1.5 years now that me and Sam have been together, and he's managed to put up with me for that long. So yeah, that's a comforting thought. Number 1, these are only things that are personal to me that help me recover. These are not necessary things. The number 1 thing for me that helped me recover was being put into hospital. I got put into a adolescent psychiatric unit when I was 17, and then had to quickly, after 2 or 3 months, leave because I turned 18 and I was technically an adult. However, I do credit hospital for the beginning of my recovery journey. My mental illness, I would say it built up over a lot of years. I was unaware of it, and it kind of came to a head when I was 17 after my first year of college, like in the summer. I really quickly went downhill and became heavily suicidal. So I was then put in hospital. I was never aware of that whole world of mental health. All I knew is that I felt like shit. And I do think like if it wasn't for that, like I don't know what would have happened to me. I feel like in there was kind of like a bubble for me, and I lived a really simple life. I think I just would read magazines, and the only people that I saw when I was in hospital were my family. I think I just needed a break and to be looked after and understood, and I feel like that's what I got. I did DBT therapy, and then I had one-to-one sessions with a psychologist and a psychiatrist whilst in there. I did actually find that DBT really helped me. We'll talk about therapy types in a bit, but yeah. So number 1, hospital. Feel like that came at the right point in my life. Number 2, medication. Medication is such a what's the word, it's a love-hate thing for me. I first got put on antidepressants when I was first year of college, so I was 16. I got put on fluoxetine then. Didn't find that had much of an effect, so I was then put on sertraline, and I then stupidly decided to go cold turkey on that. Would not recommend. But yeah, that was kind of like the beginning of my breakdown in the summer, I would say, after my first year. When I was really ill, I was put on venlafaxine, which I was on it for 6 years. Right, I do credit it because I feel like I was the lowest of the low, and then after taking it for a while, I do feel like it kind of, that and the combination of hospital lifted me up a little bit. Like I was still suicidal, but I wasn't like hopeless. I feel like you can't look at medication for the sole cure of everything. I mean, it might help some people, you might just need a bit of medication to help you with whatever. But yeah, I took venlafaxine for a long time alongside propranolol. I feel like that combination worked for me, and I've spoken to a few other people with BPD who are on exactly the same thing. It seems to be like a hand-in-hand thing. I was also given diazepam whenever I needed to like calm down, and then because obviously it's hard to sleep when your mind is like racing, I've been put on things like melatonin, and I can't remember the name of the other sleeping tablets I've been on, but anyway, that's not really that relevant. Maybe a year ago I was put on vortioxetine, which is a drug that's not that common over here. I think it's Danish, but I really like that one because it didn't have many side effects. I really like that one actually. But I basically only went on that one because I tried to come off venlafaxine and I couldn't come off that, even though I had basically got down to taking half of the lowest dose of venlafaxine, I can't remember what milligram it was, every other day. And still then when I stopped that, my body, like, it was just not cool. So I then went on to a different antidepressant to then wean myself off that. I'm not on any medication as of now. However, because like I've been going through a really tough period recently, I did ask my psychiatrist for something to get me through that. So I'm trying out a new medication. I can't remember what the name of it was. It's not like an antidepressant, it's just kind of one like diazepam that you take as and when you need it. So another one I would say is medication. I feel like for BPD it's kind of necessary that you are on medication, but just remember that there are side effects with them all, and they were horrible. Like venlafaxine was the worst side effects I've ever experienced of anything, and I do want to make a video on that, on kind of like the pros and cons of medication as well. Then obviously tip number 3 is therapy. Therapy is key. If you want to recover from BPD, you're going to have to go to some kind of therapy, and there are so many different types of therapy. So I tried, yeah, DBT and CBT. I haven't tried any of the other ones because luckily I found a psychiatrist that did CBT that I worked really well with. I did NHS therapy for a while. I had a support worker that came over to my house every week, and then I went to see a psychologist and a psychiatrist on the NHS. I loved my support worker, but I hated the psychologist and the psychiatrist. They were just really, really rubbish. So I would say maybe 3 years ago I decided to go private. And I found my current psychiatrist, who is amazing and who has been doing CBT with me for the past 3 years, and I would say I've made a lot of progress. Finding the right person for you and finding the right combination is so important. And then with therapy, doing your homework. So well, I can talk. I usually do the homework that I've been given the night before, or just make it up on the spot. So like my psychiatrist every week gives me things that I need to do. Sometimes I just straight out say to him, no, I didn't do that, like I didn't feel up to it. Obviously he's gonna understand. And some of the time I just say, oh yeah, I did that, and just make it up. Doing the work that they give you is so important, because mental health and keeping on top of your mental health is like a full-time job. It takes so much time, but if you do the homework and do the things that they tell you to do, even if you feel like shit, make it your priority, because I promise you will recover faster if you do what they say and if you cooperate with therapy. The next tip is acceptance. Not only with the diagnosis, because I don't know, like when I was diagnosed I didn't really know much about BPD, so I didn't really like react when I was diagnosed. I was just kind of relieved to be like told it's something more than depression and anxiety, because I felt like a lot of the people that I knew had depression and anxiety weren't experiencing the same like things, like the attachment and like problems in relationships. Ignore all of the stuff that's written on the internet about it, basically. Accept the fact that you do have BPD. There's nothing wrong with your personality. And also I feel like accepting that your moods are gonna be very, very up and down is an important thing. Accept that it's okay if you wake up feeling like shit, because you can always turn it around, and vice versa. If you wake up feeling good and something happens in your day, for me, I react very, very quickly to things, and my mood can change like that. Even yesterday it happened. Like, my boyfriend said something to me, not even meaning to like offend me, but I took it in the wrong way and my mood instantly was down. And then as soon as we got in the car to drive home, I was like loving life, dancing and singing along to songs. And he's just like, okay, it's like hard to judge what mood you're in and what I can and can't say. And I was just like, it's fine, just say what you want, because it's my issue. Like, I have to accept that my moods are just gonna be up and down, and that is fine. Family and friends, my mum was like an absolute angel throughout my recovery. I would not have been able to be where I am without her. She was incredible. She stayed in my bed with me for like 6 months. I was scared of myself, and she was so scared that something was going to happen to me. It was just, yeah, really comforting to have her there with me. And she took time off work when I got out of hospital to literally spend time with me and say, whatever it is you feel up to doing, let's go and do it, like, as long as it gets you out the house. I pretty much ditched all of my friends from like college and all of that, just because I associated college with like bad things happening. So I've made a lot of new friends over the years. I have kept in touch with some people and like reconnected, but yeah, I would say having a support network of friends, not necessarily in real life. Like, there's so many people online that feel the same. I know you guys who will comment on my videos. I'm sure you're all willing to listen and talk to each other and whatnot. Next thing is taking things one step at a time. Don't try and rush things, don't try and do loads at once. Honestly, the small things are the big things when you're in recovery. For me, like building up my confidence to actually see people when I got out of hospital. Basically, I only spent time with my mum, and yeah, I just slowly built up my independence. First thing that happened was I had a friend come to stay with me, because I felt like that was more comfortable for me. After that, like driving with her in the car with me, I didn't drive for ages, and then I felt able to like drive to a friend's house, build things up slowly. Be patient with yourself. And then if you do have a relapse, remember that it's part of recovery. It's gonna happen. Like, it wouldn't be a recovery if you didn't relapse. There's things on the internet of like charts of what recovery is expected to be like just a line like this, and then what it's really like, and it's just up and down, massive squiggle, up a bit, down, like, you know, it's what it's like. And one of the most important pieces of advice I've been given is that it doesn't matter if you relapse. What matters is how you get back up afterwards. If it takes you a while to get back up afterwards as well, that's fine. But please don't beat yourself up if you do relapse. It took me a long time to recover from self-harm, and then like I thought I was doing so well, and I relapsed recently, and I'm just like, Maddie, what the hell? It's crazy how like ingrained the process is. When something bad happens, you just turn to like the things that you used to find comforting. But the thing is, with that incident, I knew that I was going to be able to bounce back from it, because I have all these resources now, and I know that I'm strong and I've got through it before. I know that I'm going to be okay, even if I do feel like I'm back to square one, back where it was. So yeah, that is it. That's pretty much my tips. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking. Obviously, I can't really go into too much detail because we'd be here for like days on exactly how I recovered and like the methods I used. But what I will say is medication, therapy, friends and family, and being gentle on yourself is just the key to it. And yeah, the fact that I've done it and I literally didn't think I would. It's crazy how different the two worlds are. Like, a lot of people, when they meet me now, they are like, I would not have expected you to have gone through all of that. And obviously I have YouTube to credit for a lot of my recovery too, because if I hadn't done that, then I don't know where my life would be right now. But like, having you guys to like support me and reassure me and talk to me has honestly meant the world over these past few years. So if you followed me back when I started making videos, then thanks for sticking with me. It's been a hell of a journey. I do get frustrated when I have periods of like struggling because I feel like, Maddie, it's been 6 years now, like why are you not recovered? Why are you not fully okay? But then I'm so quick to forget exactly what I've achieved, and yeah, I don't know, mental illness is very, very draining sometimes. So yeah, if you did like this video, then please do give it a thumbs up. I hope it helped. I hope I made sense. I feel like I'm a bit subdued today. I don't really have much energy. Let me know any future suggestions for videos as well, because I'm struggling for ideas at the moment. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button down below, and I will see you in Thursday's video. Goodbye.